Alright, so this, you're going to see in a second, this here is a naan-like bread. It's not really that big of a deal. Like, it's not actually naan. First of all, I didn't actually use yogurt in it. I actually used sourdough instead of yogurt, and I let the sourdough ferment. And funnily enough, the bacteria, the lactobacillus bacteria in yogurt, there is also lactobacillus bacteria in a sourdough starter. I'm pretty sure they're not exactly the same, but they are close enough, and they both do produce lactic and acetic acid, so it does create a somewhat similar flavor profile. And then I also added some milk. So honestly, compared to the naan that I've had, it actually doesn't taste different. It tastes a lot more sour because I've let it ferment for much longer. And because sourdough is going to be much better at fermenting wheat than yogurt is. You can see it's starting to puff up now. That's not due to the yeast activity, that's due to steam. And also a little bit of baking powder, but mostly steam. And this type of flatbread has really become one of my favorite types of breads in general. Like, it's honestly pretty insane how easy it is to make things like this and how good it can taste. Like, it's really surprising. And the way that I make it now with sourdough, I do this because sourdough, if you let sourdough ferment wheat, it will ferment a lot of the anti-nutrients out of wheat. Probably the biggest one being the lectins, which are just not great for your body, and also it will ferment out a lot of the gluten, which in some cases is bad, and that's what causes over fermentation in sourdough bread. But in other cases, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for your health, because gluten in your stomach really doesn't digest very well. And because of the fact that right now mass-produced bread is made so quickly, that gluten is not fermented out by the yeast. And so that's probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people have gluten intolerance, and why gluten intolerance and celiac has gone up so much, simply because we're eating so much gluten that it's destroying our inner gut and destroying our gut microbiome and things like that. But with sourdough, that's not the case. With sourdough, that's going to basically not be an issue. It will ferment most of the gluten out, it will ferment all of the anti-nutrients out, and so it's going to be, one, lower in the glycemic index because it will ferment some sugar out, be healthier for you, and it will probably cause you less gut problems, even if you're gluten intolerant or whatever. And so now you can see the bread has puffed up a significant amount. I'm going to invert it very soon now. Actually, I'm going to invert it in just a little bit, and what's going to happen is it's going to fall out. It shouldn't fall out of the pan, but unfortunately it did. So we're just going to have to deal with that. You can see here, and now I do this, and it just falls out. It's not a big deal, though, because I have a gas stove, and I can just crank the heat up and let it just burn on the stove like this. If you were using an electric stove, I'm not sure how well this would work, but this works just fine for me. And now you can see I'm just looking at this with my tongs. I'll flip it over and put it on my plate. Actually, I'm not quite satisfied with the browning yet, or the burning yet. And yeah, now I'm satisfied. You can get a good look of it. Now I'm going to go enjoy this. Thanks for watching.